everybody, this is Rose of Sharon, and I'm back again with another movie review. This was a Hindi film that was actually recommended to me by one of my gardeners, and I think his name's Ravajash, I believe. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. Forgive me, but you have a very long name. This movie's called Black, and of course, it stars the inimitable and incomprehensible Amitabh Bachchan. And I love Amitabh. Amitabh, he's just one of those actors who I think should be knighted, honestly. It is a movie done by Yash Raj, which puts forward just the best quality ever imagined. And trying to see if there is a yes, the filmmaker Sanjay Leela. He also did Devdas, which Devdas is one of the best Hindi films ever made, and a lot of people who love Bollywood would agree. And unlike normal Bollywood films, there is no singing and dancing in this. This is basically the Hindi version of The Miracle Worker, and you can see in Michelle's face, and actually, it's kind of funny, because the braille is actually raised on this cover. I just realized that because I just started feeling it. That's so cool. That's so amazing. I'm sorry. I like things that are textured like that. That's neat. I wonder if it actually says something, because, I don't read Braille, but that is just fascinating. I'm completely just taken by this. This is the deluxe version of Black. And it's based upon Helen Keller's life. And in fact, it's almost verbatim with The Miracle Worker. If you've seen The Miracle Worker, then you know how Helen was treated, and she was just this bulwark of strength and perseverance, and I can actually relate quite a bit to Michelle because I'm a late bloomer too. But unlike her, I had parents. They were narcissistic, yes. My mother used tough love quite a bit, but they believed in me no matter what I did. And even though they're not here anymore, I can say that in 3 years without my parents, I am now completely independent, and I've learned to accept myself and move forward. It's one of those movies that's really inspirational to me. I can't really say that much about it, other than it's different from any other Bollywood film I've seen. There is a kissing scene, which normally you don't see in a Bollywood movie, because they don't show kissing or anything that's sexual. Well, they do. They'll kind of hint at things that are sexual in nature or provocative, but they do it in sort of a kind of coy way, a little titillation here and there, but it's almost like, yeah, we know this is innocuous. We know this is, we're using innuendo or double entendre in such a way that the audience can infer meaning. This actually cuts straight to the chase where Michelle is involved, and she meets this teacher played by Sir Amitabh, and oh, my lord, it's nothing short of just absolutely spectacular. It's a stellar film. I wish this would have gotten some kind of reward, because honestly, I think it should have gotten an award. It's that good. I mean, I was completely compelled. I'm completely just entranced by it, and I cried during so many scenes, but the ending of it was more filled with happy tears than tears of sorrow. Two thumbs way up, 4 out of 5, because like I said, it's basically another version of The Miracle Worker, but it's still good enough on its own that I think it merits being acknowledged for what it is, and getting its inspiration from Helen herself, as well as the Institute for the Deaf and Blind. And they did their research. They did an excellent job, and it's such a moving film. It's very encouraging, and during this time, since my birthday this year, I've been through a bit of a roller coaster ride, and it's tested me. It has severely tested me, but I find that my faith and my hope and my optimism, as well as my humor, have kept my head above water, even though I thought, oh my God, I'm sinking. I don't know if I'm going to be inundated and completely drowned, but I thought I can't think that way because that's self-defeating and it's the self-fulfilling prophecy, and I really don't want to manifest that. I'm an optimist, so I just think along the lines of what's possible rather than beating myself up and feeling, just having pity, because pity, it's a very low level, low vibrational feeling, and I don't acknowledge it. I'm gentler with myself because it's like I told my friend today, I am my own worst critic. But needless to say, I found Black to be incredibly compelling. The cinematography was absolutely beautiful. Young Michelle and adult Michelle, both actresses that portrayed her, were just absolutely spectacular. This is a movie that can be enjoyed by everybody. Some parts of it may be difficult to watch because the teacher himself was very, very unconventional and very unorthodox, and a lot of his methods would probably be considered abuse in some circles today, but he was able to give Michelle language and her own voice, and he made her independent, and he gave her light in the midst of her darkness. That's why it's called Black, because she could see nothing but black. At the very beginning, she was basically treated like an animal, and her parents didn't know what to do with her, even though her sister was completely normal, Sarah, her sister. But she had no means of conveying her emotions because she was born deaf and blind. So she's going through her life just groping for some semblance of making herself heard, making herself acknowledged, standing out amongst the crowd instead of getting lost, and just in that bleak, numb, secluded, lonely, desolate place. That pit. We all know what that pit is. That pit is despair. That pit is depression. That pit can lead to suicide if not checked. Been there. I have had that feeling. It's not pleasant, trust me. It's that kind of, it's the murky mire, that slippery slope. And you feel there's no hope. You don't think that there's any exit or egress or any help or any assistance coming to actually get you out of that pit. But here's something I've learned, and she learned this as well, even when her teacher's memory started to fade, which it was very difficult to watch, but it leads you with the Lady or Tiger ending. I think the ending was happy, but I'm not going to say what happens. But the spoiler is her teacher has Alzheimer's, or her teacher contracts Alzheimer's over time in this period of teaching her in his eccentric way. But there are people that will help you up when you least expect it. And there are times where you have to help yourself up, and you have to be your own best friend, and you really have to lean upon your faith and lean upon God. But she learns over time, and it's just one of the most incredible movies I've ever seen. And I liked this just as much as the original. So, if you've seen the original Miracle Maker, then I would recommend Black, because Black is just their telling of a story that's similar. And I don't know if they had somebody in their society that maybe was born that way, but I really don't think I don't think so. I just think it was a retelling of Helen Keller's life. That's basically all I had to say about Black. So until next time, live long, prosper. Ciao, Tootsie.